Hello, everyone. So my name is Jay, and I'm a final year medic at the University of Cambridge, and I'm here to present the project that I've done with my team with Hackbridge, which is the head circumference measurement app. So this project is a project that was brought to Hackbridge by a fellow clinician working with Adam Brooks, and really this project is to develop a mobile app to use its camera function to measure the head circumference. And the reason why this app was proposed was because the current method of measuring the head circumference for infants are quite inconsistent. So they're using tape measures. So while clinicians are able to do the measurements quite reliably, actually parents and caregivers can't do it to the same extent. So the idea was to create a mobile app that can automatically detect the head circumference of babies and infants and newborns. So that can give us a indication of how the baby is growing. So that would give you clinical information on its development and whether or not there's any serious disorders. And it also gives parents and caregivers the ability to measure their own child's head circumference at home. This project will be pushed to a clinical study soon to be compared with traditional tape measure to see how well it is. So the team was a team of 6 students with 2 supervisors. So the clinician who proposed the project was Dr. Stefan Jordanov, who is working with the Department of Neurosurgery, so pediatric neurosurgery. And our supervisor was Brian, who is the president for Hackbridge. So our team was mainly split into 2 halves, so front end and back end. And I work at the front end, so that's me, Jay, and Philippe was an engineer who I worked with for the front end. And on the back end, we have 4 people. So Nav, Frederick, they were the 2 who built demos on the back end algorithm. And then we also have David, who's also another doctor, and Billy, who is an engineer. So this project was actually quite a long project. It was longer than I expected. So we actually built it from November to January, at least for the first prototype. So we went from project planning to kind of do research around building the app from scratch, finding out what is required, and then we went on to sketch what the sort of wireframe that we want. How is the logic going to flow within different pages, and then finally we go on to create a prototype. So for the front end, we use several frameworks, so React Native and Expo. We also use ngrok for testing local servers from the computer to Expo on the mobile. So it's a sort of tunneling service. And on the back end, it's mainly with Python. So we use OpenCV's GrabCAD algorithm for most of the work. And we also use Heroku and Flask for backend server hosting. So by January, we already have a working app, and February and August was mostly about combining them and also pushing the local servers to remote servers, as I mentioned, using Flask and Heroku, and then to commence on beta testing. By July, August, we have all these functions implemented. So we have the profile set up and settings. And we also have the working head circumference estimation. And we also have an entry table, which I'll show later, and then circumference growth chart. And we also have data sharing for saving. This is more relevant for further on in the clinical trial when we want to export data. And finally, we also have a Central API and Central chart, which is a function that was provided by the Royal College of Pediatrics. However, it was quite limited, so we disabled it. But maybe in the future, we can enable it again. So that's the brief overview of the project, and now I'm going to show a demo. So you have a welcome page, and then you'll be prompted to enter your name. So here we'll put sample. You click OK, and you'll put your due date delivery, and then actual birthday, and this is to to help us calculate the actual age in number of weeks. And the baby's head circumference will differ based on gender as well. And here we have an option to review it. We get started. And so first of all, here we have settings page where you can change your details. You can also delete all data. And we have the table and the chart, which is not implemented. So we also have a help page to basically put down the guide on how to use the app. It's quite detailed, as you can see on the picture. It's going to look like that when you take the measurements. And now let's give it a go. So I don't actually have a model, so we're just going to use my cup here. And the object of reference is 50p. And once you take a picture, you will align the blue dots to the edge. You don't have to be perfect, but it just helps the GrabCAD algorithm find out where the edges are. So here, it will send the image to our Heroku server where it processes and comes back, which is 30.5. It's not very accurate, but can be improved. So you can save this picture and it will also automatically save the number here. And then you can click on chart to find out where it is on the actual growth chart, which doesn't really work well here, which is why we actually rely on a Centel chart when it's available. Then you can see it's saved in the gallery. So and that's it. Thank you for listening to this presentation. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me at jqt20@cam.ac.uk.